Daria, I'm Nora, and this is Rated My Reads. Today I want to do something a little bit different. I haven't done this before on my channel, but I thought it was about time that I start doing some more things bookish related, other than my TBR, my wrap up, and rereading my bookshelf or whatever, and the writing series of course. I thought I'd do something a bit more bookish, and I thought that I would do a book versus movie comparison. Hi, I just wanted to pop in quickly and give you a little update about this video because it is sponsored now and I couldn't have done that without you guys. Specifically without bookstagrammers.com. If you don't know what bookstagrammers.com is, it is a website in which booktubers, book talkers, book bloggers, and bookstagrammers can talk with brands and join campaigns in which brands create to get paid for the content they put out. So this is one of those. I'm getting paid by bookstagrammers.com to talk about bookstagrammers.com because it is a fabulous, and I mean a fabulous thing to do. It is for everyone in the community. This is for all of you. Now, you probably are wondering, oh, what do you mean it's for all of us? Well, you talk about books on these platforms. Well, brands who want to advertise their stuff on this platform may want to talk to you. So some of the perks of being on bookstagrammers.com is that you have all the money that you get is yours. There are no mediation fees. You get 100% of the money you earn. The second perk is that you have no minimum amount of followers. So you could have like one subscriber or one follower and you could still sign up for this website. And I think that's fabulous because it means that more people can get involved in this community. And another perk is that the website is free to join. Yes, it is free to join, which is amazing because of course you would want it to be free. You wouldn't want to pay to advertise other people's stuff, if you get what I mean. The platform is made for collaborations between brands and the book community. It is time that book influencers get paid for the content they create. I think all of that made sense anyway. If you want to join bookstagrammers.com, I will leave a link in the description below. I hope you enjoyed this little ad break, and let's get back onto the video. Now, what this entails is me watching the movie after reading the book. And I've done that. I read the first two Percy Jackson books and watched the first Percy Jackson movie. So this is what this video is going to be. It's going to be Percy Jackson book versus movie. I might do a part 2 to this for the second book, second movie, but for now it's the first book and movie. So let's get to it. I have a couple of problems with this movie. So we all know it's the worst book to movie adaptation. Okay, that's out of the water. It's done. That's why we're getting a TV show, and that's fine. And I can't wait for the TV show because Rick Riordan has an input in it. But the movie was tragically bad, and a lot of stuff happened in the movie that didn't happen in the book. I have a list, like, yeah, that's just notes from the movie and comparing it to the book. Straight off the bat, the gods know about Poseidon's son, Percy. Why do the gods and everyone in this movie, except for Percy, know that he's the son of Poseidon? Because we don't find out in the book until he goes to Camp Half-Blood. And I know Chiron and Grover had a kind of feeling that it was him in the book, but in the movie they just know, and I'm just like, what? Another point that doesn't really relate to the book, but Pierce Brosnan and Sean Bean were in this. What? And Uma Thurman, and I did not know that when I first watched this movie years and years ago. That's very strange to me. In the movie, Miss Dodds is the substitute teacher right before they go to the museum place of Greek mythology. I don't know what it's called, but that. And in the book, she has been a teacher for the whole year, but the mist, obviously, when she attacks Percy, makes it more like she wasn't there at all. In the movie, Chiron and Grover both see Percy, but that doesn't happen in the book. Only Chiron sees Percy, and he throws Percy a pen and then leaves. Whereas in the movie, they both, Grover and Chiron, stay behind and talk to Percy about this. Which doesn't make any sense at all, because it's supposed to be like, oh, this happened, but we're pretending it doesn't happen because It's important that you learn this on your own rather than, you know. Also, he's not at boarding school, he's just living at home. Which is very strange, because in the book he's at boarding school, and he's there till almost the end of the year, and Chiron is one of the teachers and Grover is one of his friends, I think his roommate actually. But in the movie, it's just Chiron's a teacher and Grover is his best friend, and that is it. Like, he only knows Grover for about half a year before the attack happens, and now it's like he's known him for years. It doesn't make sense. It just doesn't. Grover in the movie is too sassy and too outgoing. Like, he's also really sexual. Like, it's not fun. This is a middle grade novel. Like, do not turn it into sexualization of teenagers, because that's who they're portrayed as. Like, Percy is 12 in the book. He is 12. And Grover, like, is like 16 or something. But he's actually like 33 because satyrs grow slower than humans. So, yeah. But still, this is annoying. Also, in the book, Percy pushes his bully into the fountain using water. The water grabs her and pulls her into the fountain. And that's why he goes off with Miss Dodd, because Miss Dodd sees it. And in the movie, that doesn't happen. Like, there's no bully or anything. Yeah, I was just confused as to why that wasn't in there, because it gives a reason. Because for some reason, in the movie, Miss Dodds just asks Percy to see Percy alone. And he just goes with her. In the book, the reason why he goes with her is because he actually gets in trouble. And then in the book as well, the pen is returned to Chiron until Percy attends camp. But in the movie, Percy just has the pen throughout from when he fights Miss Dodds. And Miss Dodds escapes, which doesn't happen in the book. Percy pulverizes her, and she turns into, like, dust or whatever, and then disappears. Because she's a monster, and monsters don't die. But in the movie, she just escapes. What? In the book, Percy goes on a weekend away with his mom. And they spend some time together until Grover turns up and is like, there's a monster, you need to leave. But in the movie, that doesn't happen. They go home, they leave school early. No, they leave the school trip early, and they go to his mom, and they tell him he needs to go to camp. And then they drive to camp, which is kind of strange, because I get that he's not in boarding school because of some random reason, but you could at least have the weekend away with his mom where she cooks all these blue foods and stuff. That would be really cool. But they just don't do that. And a funny part of the movie is Grover just takes his pants off in the car when it's like turned upside down, and his goat feet are just there, and he kicks out a window, which, you know, fine. So in the book, again, well, this is gonna be like a book versus movie. Of course it's in the book. In the book, the Minotaur gets his horn sliced off by Percy's sword. Now, in the movie, the horn gets stuck in a tree, and then Percy grabs the horn and stabs the Minotaur in the, like, stomach. And that's just weird. Like, he's supposed to slice it off, and then the Minotaur pulverizes, and he keeps the horn as, like, a souvenir kind of thing. Kind of in the book, you would think that the horn would pulverize with the Minotaur because it is part of the Minotaur, but it's broken off. So I don't know. But in the movie, he just stabs him with the horn, and that makes no sense. Grover doesn't have his horns yet, which in the book, he hides them with hat and hair. Now, in the movie, he just doesn't have his horns yet because he's a junior protector, and he wants to be a senior protector. That doesn't make sense, because he wants to go on a quest after completing, what's it called? He wants to be able to protect someone enough to go on a quest to find Pan in the books. And the movie just doesn't acknowledge that whatsoever. Annabeth isn't blonde. Luke and Annabeth aren't on the same capture the flag team. In the books they are, because Clarice is Ares' daughter, and she is the other team captain, and Percy is, like, in the book, Percy is like a distraction for them. So her team goes, Clarice's team goes to Percy thinking the flag would be there, or to fight Percy because he's new or something. I don't remember very well. But then Luke and Annabeth go and get Ares' flag because it's a distraction. In the movie, Clarice doesn't exist. Luke and Annabeth are on separate teams. And Percy just kind of wins by going in the water, which I know happens in the book. He does fight them off because he's in the water, and he's able to do that. But in the movie, it's like he's a god. And he's not a god, he's a demigod. And everyone just lets him take the flag, which doesn't make sense. How can he suddenly fight in this scene? Because no, he can't. He doesn't know how to fight. He has never trained to fight before. This is his first training thing. Capture the flag is the first thing he does. And he can't fight. He doesn't know how. He's 12. Why isn't Annabeth obsessed with going on a quest to begin with? First, she doesn't appear by Percy's side when he wakes up in the infirmary, talking about a quest, and then Percy goes back to sleep and wakes up and Grover's there. But in the movie, she's just not obsessed with the quest. And we all know in the books that she's obsessed with going on a quest. How does Hades show up at the camp in the movie? Because in the book, it's a hellhound that has been summoned into the camp because there's borders around the camp that don't allow monsters into the camp. In the movie, Hades just shows up in the fire. What? There is no oracle or quest given to Percy. He just decides to leave on his own. And at the end of the movie, he's told by Chiron that Chiron says Percy is his favorite student because he left on his own accord and trusted his instincts. Which is fine. But that doesn't happen in the book. So it's not fine. Not really. Why does Luke have a PlayStation camp, and what way is he holding that controller? Doesn't make sense. Luke says he's never met his dad. Annabeth also says she's never met her mom. But in the book, they've both met their parents multiple times, just not properly. Like, they've seen them and they've talked to them, but they haven't, like, had, like, quality time with them. I get that. But in the movie, there's a law now that, gods can't see their children because, for some reason, what? Persephone's pearls is just, no. In the book, Ares, god of war, gives Percy, Annabeth, and Grover these pearls to get to the underworld, or get out of the underworld, actually. But he obviously doesn't count on them getting out of the underworld. He thinks Hades is going to kill them, because no one gets into the underworld if you're living. But in the movie, Luke has a whole map to Persephone's pearls, which, if you step on, can get you out of the underworld. It doesn't really make sense that he would have a map to these pearls when Ares, god of war, has the pearls. Why didn't they introduce Ares, god of war, into the movie? Percy Jackson just figures out that Medusa can be seen by reflection using his iPhone. Now, Percy Jackson is not smart because he's a dumbass. And Annabeth is supposed to be the daughter of the goddess of wisdom, so she knows all these things. So I'm surprised that they didn't put that in the movie, that she knew this, because in the books, that's what happens. Annabeth knows everything, but Percy doesn't because he's been at regular school, not learning about Greek mythology the whole time. I used to date your daddy. Oh, the scene is fucking great. Heads up. How can he heal other people with water? I don't think this is discussed in the book. Like, I get that could be possible, but how does he just know? Because he's like, oh, watch this, and then puts her hand like this, and then she heals? Like, I don't understand that. It doesn't make sense to me. Why are they going to Nashville? That is not part of the book at all. Why does Annabeth have a MacBook? Like, no. Also, in Nashville, I know this whole scene doesn't exist in the book, but why don't they use the ladder to climb up and then get the pearl? Because there is a ladder that they just throw away, and they just don't use it. And that makes no sense. Why are the janitors the Hydra? Because the Hydra's in book 2. Barely, but the Hydra is in book 2. Not a prominent part of the books, but in the movie, the Hydra's there. That's just fun, isn't it? Why does Annabeth have a bow and arrow? The water thing, where Percy just pulverizes everything with water, doesn't make sense. Like, I'm using the word pulverize a lot, but that's what happens. But in Nashville, he uses the water from the drinking fountains to, like, create a whole wall against this Hydra. Which is fair enough, but he's not that powerful yet. He is 12. And second, he does it again with water tanks at the end when he's fighting Luke in the movie. Again, not that powerful. He is 12. Why do they have a car? They're 12. Lotus Fire, drugs, haha, so funny, they're 12. This movie has some bangers of some songs. Like, they have TikTok, they have Poker Face, they have Highway to Hell. Like, I didn't realize this movie had so many good songs. It's great. Wow, stealing a car, how fast and furious of them. Why the Hollywood sign? Why is Hades' lair in the Hollywood sign? Like, that makes no sense, because in the book it's under the Santa Monica Pier, and you have to get there through, like, a record company thing. Why the Hollywood sign? Is it because they couldn't just build a set and decided to go, oh, you know what's great? The Hollywood sign. The most expensive place in Hollywood, probably. I don't actually know, I've never been. Why are they rowing on the river Styx? What? What happened to the queue of people getting into hell / the underworld? And Cerberus checked them all out, and the doggy thing where Annabeth tries and trains Cerberus and makes a friend out of Cerberus, and all of that cute stuff like obedience skill and shit. That's not in the movie. Cerberus doesn't even exist in this movie. And that's sad, because instead there's just hellhounds. Just hellhounds instead of Cerberus. Cerberus. Why is Persephone there? There's no mention of Thalia, and there's no mention of the journey that Annabeth, Luke, and Grover took with Thalia at all in this movie. Like, none at all. So, my question is, what happened to Thalia? Like, the entrance to the camp is not a tree. It is not a hill that goes up and there's a big tree at the top and then it goes down into Camp Half-Blood. No, it's like, like a doorway kind of thing. Makes no sense. Why does he have a trident? Like, it just appears out of the water, like, and then he throws Luke into the water, into the river, or the ocean. I don't actually know what one it is, but, yeah, he throws the trident at Luke, and it, like, catches him in the throat, and then he goes into the water. In the book, Luke isn't revealed as evil until the very end, where he tries and stings Percy with a scorpion, and tells him what happened. Obviously, he takes Percy under his wing to try and get him to trust him at the very beginning of the movie, but then it kind of goes downhill from there. And he gives him the lightning bolt in his shield, and he tries and stop Percy from getting the lightning bolt to Mount Olympus, and tries to fight him, and he's just revealed as evil. Why is Annabeth in Olympus with Percy? In the book, this doesn't happen. Percy goes in alone, and his mum isn't there. Annabeth goes back to camp, but in the movie, Annabeth is in the room with him in Mount Olympus. Now, she then sees her mother and says, "Hi, Mom." And it's really cute because in the movie she says that she's never seen her mom before. But in the book, it doesn't happen. Why are all the other gods in the room? I swear in the book that it was only Zeus and Poseidon. And then all the other gods just kind of get up and leave and let Poseidon talk to his child. That there is a law against in the movie, apparently. Are they going to mention the fact that Percy is a fugitive? Because in the book and in the movie, he is a fugitive. But it's just not mentioned in the movie at all until when he is actually a fugitive, and Gabe, his stepdad, is telling the authorities that he's done all this stuff that he hasn't actually done. And then it's just like, this doesn't happen. There's no more mention of him being a fugitive or how they got him out of being a fugitive. It makes no sense. I don't understand. And my last point is, why are Annabeth and Percy about to kiss at the end of the movie? Like, we know Percy and Annabeth have strong feelings for each other, and we know that they're really good friends now at the end of the book and at the end of the movie. But they're about to train in the movie, and then they kind of go in to kiss, but then she takes his sword away from him and says, "Rule number 1 of battle strategy, don't let your opponent distract you," or something like that. That happens. They're supposed to be 12. Like, I don't understand. Okay. I need to stop talking about this movie because I'm gonna get so angry with it. I watched it last night and I just needed to, I wrote down all my thoughts and it's just insane. But yeah, that is my thought on the book versus movie adaptation of Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos by me, click the subscribe button and I will see you in my next video. Bye.